This has been a long time coming because my energy for work has been very up and down. And it's taken me a while to find my words, and these are definitely not all of my words, but it's a start. So, any kids of Because I Told You So parents out there, my fellow Gen Xers, how are we doing? How are we doing? It's rough out there. I'm not gonna lie. Any complex trauma survivors? There's those old feelings of helplessness creeping in, some caged outrage trying to break out. So anytime I see violence, gun violence, starving children, abused kids in jail, I'm shook by it. So I just want to be really clear because I feel like I've been watering down my content and this is just too important. And we think that we're just talking about discipline, but what we're really doing is teaching fear of authority and obedience at all costs. So what's authoritarian? For me, favoring strict obedience to authority, like strict obedience at all costs. It's pretty on par with like the fuck around and find out parenting, right? Kids need discipline and there's consequences and you need to show respect. You need to listen. That's what we were told, right? How dare you talk to me like that? Don't you ever disrespect me like that again. Who do you think you are? You better not talk back. Don't even think about it. A lot of us were told by the adults in our lives that what we saw or what we felt wasn't true, wasn't warranted. They told us that it was for our own good. We were told that our parents did their best and that they were just trying to help. But what we really learned, what they really taught us was fear. And they convinced us that our feelings of sadness, our feelings of anger or joy or frustration, those made us less worthy, less credible. And if we dare pay attention to those emotions and we're blinded by empathy or we're fooled by concern, that's authoritarian parenting. But really, it's like, what does it feel like? It's resentment. It's that loss of autonomy, the sting of being disregarded just for telling your truth. All of that is being awakened right now in this landscape. I should be finalizing emails and sending you things and the support that you need to be the rock star that your kids deserve and that you want to be. But I gotta be honest, America doesn't feel safe right now. It's not safe to be yourself. It's not safe to speak up unless your words are pre-approved. And it's kind of hard to feel like a rock star when everything that you cherish, freedom, autonomy, human rights, kindness, empathy, our voices are under attack and just crumbling around us. And yes, I'm still physically safe. I can sit on my front porch without fear. I can go to the store without worry. But let's be honest, that's not true for everyone right now. And to be clear, my work was never just about parenting tips. It was always about dismantling punishment culture. I wanted to know how to build a society that was less violent, less cruel, more kind. I wanted to know how we could help our kids feel more understood. I wanted to know why they were so angry and violent. I had my suspicions because I grew up in violence. It was suburban toxicity, all dressed up in nice houses and fancy clothes. I was actually taught to solve problems with force. And I don't mean like just because we were hit, because that was common for a lot of us, but I mean authoritarian, violent, unrelenting control. I was punished for months at a time. I was told what I could wear, who I could be friends with. I was isolated from friends and family and loved ones. I was punished if I tried to speak up for myself. Everything, my basic rights were denied at the whims of my protector. So you might know that story if you grew up with any kind of childhood trauma, right? We know the story, we lived it. We played that game in childhood. A lot of us played that game in childhood, right? Children are to be seen and not heard. We know what happens when you don't obey. And now that is all playing out in America. Voices are silenced. Fear is weaponized. Empathy is seen as a weakness. And for me, at least, I think that's why I'm feeling so unsettled. And it's probably true for a lot of us, because if we're not free, then nobody's really free. We're just pretending, and eventually what touches others will touch us. So for me, parenting became the vehicle that would expose abuse packaged as discipline or emotional neglect seen as good parenting. Because how we raise our kids is how we build our society. And our words always matter, but so do our intentions. So a lot of times we think that we're saying one thing and it just lands completely different than how we intended. So with everything going on, I had to kind of back up, reassess, and I had to ask myself, what are you willing to fight for? What do you cherish? What ideals, traditions, morals, beliefs are worth protecting? And each of us can answer that call in our own way. And we can choose that in how we raise our kids, with relationship, brain building, unconditional love, and, not with rewards or punitive force or conditional attention. We can choose that in how we lead our communities, with curiosity and empathy and respectful communication, and not with intolerance or rage baiting or brute force. And we can choose in how we stick up for those less privileged than us, with courage, in spite of our fear, right? It comes down to fear or love, and not whether we feel fear, because fear is an inevitable part of life, and not whether we show love, because plenty of monsters can show love. But real change may hinge on whether we feel loved enough to push past the fear, believing that we can make an impact, even with the smallest of actions, if we believe that we have something to offer. So don't shrink in the face of fear. I'm trying. That's the lie that authoritarian parenting drilled into us. Now we're building different communities. We're finding the courage to say, not anymore. We're not going to be silent. We're not going to stay small. We're going to keep leading. We're going to keep leading with love, as hard as it may be in these times right now. So with that, I just want to say thank you for being here, and let's just keep helping each other feel brave enough to stand up for what we believe. All right, talk soon. Remember, conscious, not perfect.